just the letter.
Oh, I don't know.
I have part of it.
Yeah, it was just the second page. It must have been quoted in it.
She never had the whole thing.
That was really neat.
A letter? A ghost letter? What are y'all talking about?
Were they gypsies? Who was it? Were they gypsies? Who was she writing? Oh, no, it was a former slave.
No, it was Indian guide.
Running Bear or Falling Rock?
No, had a
My
name.
mother always said that she had psychic powers and
the
that they
husband
really,
didn't
really
like her doing
tried
it.
to.
That was Amelia.
discourage
That was
her.
our grand.
Amelia Turner
we
Laird?
thought that
Your mom?
My
Your mom
mother,
had psychic powers?
no, my mother said that Amelia Turner Laird.
Yeah. I don't want to wrangle with her in the after world.
she did Ouija boards too.
Did she really?
Didn't know that. Well, tell them how the man that you sent to James to rid him of his spirits
Oh Lord,
is connected to the Earlys. That's
it was Roy.
Yeah, back in
okay,
those
that's
days, the Lear boys, Vernon and Rowe, didn't have law degrees, but were magistrates, county
That's right.
magistrates, right? And so it's a different world that we live in, where there's mandatory minimums and all this stuff about what happens when you get into a court. Is that a county judge, probably a fellow Mason, came up to Roger Randolph Early Jr., who was my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, and said, "We got this boy, and I think he's a good boy, and I don't want to send him to juvenile, whatever. Would you take him on the dairy in Milford, Ohio?" And my grandfather agreed to do that. That was Roy Craig. And Graham Early always said the Craigs were a fine Kentucky family, and they do kind of intermingle with the Tribbles in the book because there's a Baptist Craig. And so it turns out that Roy becomes the most dedicated of all of the sons, right? Is that when Graham Early needs something, he comes over from lunch break, picks up bread on the way, and then she goes, "Roy, where's the milk?" And he goes back and goes and gets milk. And Roger and David would never kind of perform that kind of hands-on daily visit kind of service. And so he had a daughter, Robin, and Robin married Joe Hammock, who was a line operator for Ford, that had a good union job, but was also involved in Native American spirituality. And the first way I ran into him is that Toyota paid for like a museum or something that they were, making atonement to the community in which they operated. Joe Hammock designed the Native American mannequins with boots for the earrings that were anatomically correct and stuff like that. So when James Neal, our cousin, through the Tribble side, said he was having problems in the nursing home and the preacher couldn't. The preacher said, yes, there are spirits, but there's nothing I can be able to do about it. And James, I thought in a large leap of faith, came out of his Christian vision of the world and said, I need help in this. And when I suggested that Joe Hammock, who had been a pipe carrier, attend to it, Joe drove all the way from Hillsboro, Ohio, down to Richmond, Kentucky on this visit and had a little conference with the spirits that were bothering James Neal while James was present. And James would go on to tell that story. I mean, it wasn't like he hid that thing under the carpet, and he was never bothered by the spirits again.
Right.
And you
Joe,
were there.
Yes, I was there.
Oh, you were there for the
Oh
thing?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Joe Hammock is having serious health consequences
Oh,
right now.
sorry.
So, he was
But
unable
I
to
thought
visit.
that he said that your grandfather or a grandmother or something had taken him in. You didn't.
That was Roy.
That was Roy. Okay, okay. So he felt like we were family.
Yes.
He was very, very nice, and anyway, I was having a hard time explaining to them exactly
He
the
had people
connection.
to do exorcisms and everything, hadn't he?
Yes. Oh yes.
That didn't work.
Oh, this is James?
Oh no.
Oh,
No, he just kept, he just drove us crazy. I mean, and he would ask everybody he knew, his doctor and everybody would just go along with him and say, yes, I have spirits that bother me, and and so, which just reaffirmed all of his whatever, and he wanted to move from the room at the nursing home and thought they were there before he was there, and it was a never-ending thing. And so I had looked up some things, and I kept thinking, well, I'm not going to have an exorcism. I mean, it just, and he wouldn't go along with that, or it just wouldn't work. So I was getting really confused on it. So, but he just kept saying, David will know what to do. He said, David knows everything, and so he finally asked you, and
Wow.
Joe came down the next day, the very next day.
And then Joe said bourbon balls or something?
Yes,
That was a-
oh yes, that was just wonderful.
I think James Neal kind of liked it when you got alcohol into the nursing.
Oh, he loved the bourbon balls.